Hello, folks, and welcome to yet another episode of the Jimnasium Tailgate, the Garage's very own college football podcast, show, live stream. We do it all here in the fucking garage. I am your host, XFL Jim. I'm feeling college. I kind of whipped out my old fucking muscle shirt just for this event because it's college football. We're in the thick of the season. I'm loving life. It's great. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, the Gulf Coast guru himself, the GCG, my man, Magic Mike. How you doing, buddy?
What is up, brother? You got to be feeling good coming back from old Vegas there. Rumor on the street has it you might have had a big weekend.
I had a fantastic weekend, and I can tell you this, I'm going to be getting into it heavy with Chase on the Jimnasium on this Sunday. It's going to be a fucking episode, so tune into that. Make sure if you're listening to this right now, tune in Sunday. Do it.
I hope you've made better life decisions than one young mantis out there in the world.
You know what? As long as he's happy, that's all that matters, right? I have been telling everybody, he's a legend. He's a fucking legend.
He made his bones out there, that's for sure.
Right? Hey, he'll never forget. Never forget, Mantis. Rip Beho right here. He knows what's up. Mantis was a goddamn man.
Beho better stay tuned. I think Kentucky might be showing up on some lists, huh?
I think Kentucky might be showing up on a couple fucking lists here. We might be alluding to that. So what was before we jump into the top 25, did you have like a favorite moment of college football? By the way, shout out Better Than Vegas. My man here is in the top 3. I think you're in the top 2 of the showdown right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm about 3 or so units back, close, I think a little under 3. So yeah, our boy JMP, James Makes Picks, still holding it down in first place. I had a pretty good lead there, and then last weekend happened. It was not a good weekend for me as far as gambling. So favorite moment, if that's what you were going to ask from last weekend. Sure. Trying to think of, you know what? Oregon State at the end of the night did save me a little bit of cash, did get me a little bit of street cred back in the BTV world. So I'm going to go with Oregon State as my favorite moment, just them ending the night on a good note from what it was the rest of the time.
That was a great one for me too. But non-gambling wise, I know your favorite moment was Oregon just taking it to Ohio State.
So in classic Ohio State fashion, that was one, like I had this big parlay in that would okay, these teams, they should all win. I'm going to put a little chunk of change on that. As long as that hits, I'll cover my whole day. I'm golden. And of course, the only team to lose in the entire parlay was Ohio State. So even when they lose, even when I want to be happy about it,
find a way to fuck you.
They still fuck me. But I will tell you what, they don't look that good to me. They don't look
defense is suspect, dude.
Yeah,
defense is bad.
They're always a little suspect against the pass, and now just watching 2 straight running backs run all over them to open up the season, that's not good. And CJ Stroud's probably the least dynamic quarterback I've seen there in years.
I think he'll be fine. I think their offense will be fine. I trust Ryan Day to still trot out like a good offense because they just have weapons around Stroud that they'll be a fine offense, even if they're not as good as it's hard to be as good as Justin Fields or even Dwayne Haskins was awesome in college.
Well, I mean, even going back, Barrett and Braxton Miller when he was playing quarterback, those guys brought the running element. And I'll tell you what, CJ Stroud, once he's forced out of the pocket, he is not a good decision maker. Some of the things I've seen him do out there, I mean, it's going to take time to learn it, but it raises the question to me is if you had all these quarterbacks with no experience on the roster coming into the season, why didn't you go with the big blue chip guys instead of CJ Stroud? Looking at him, he's not ready. He's not there. I'm sure none of the other guys were there either, but if he's kind of a 1-year stopgap for, say, Ewers or the other kid, just go with them if you knew this was the situation you're in,
Exactly. My main issue with Ohio State is that defense, but we will definitely get into that. Let's jump in. The top 25, the Garage's top 25. I'll start it off this week. You started off last week. I'll start it off this week. Last week I had Oklahoma State here. This week I've actually moved a team back because they haven't really shown anything. And the one time they really played against anyone decent, they lost and their offense didn't look that great. I actually have one Clemson Tigers here.
Oh, okay. They're coming back up, huh? Or no, they went.
I actually had them higher. They're dropping further for me.
Yeah, it was a good little morale boost for that team, I guess. Beating up on a nobody. be interesting to see what happens. I'm sure they're going to roll through a chunk of their schedule until that Pitt game, and then we'll see what happens.
Dude, I hope there are 2 teams. Actually, there are 3 teams that I called from the beginning of the season. Pitt is one of them. And if Pitt somehow wins the Coastal and like by some magic they fucking beat Clemson, I'm gonna jizz everywhere. The three big ones. There's 2 more coming up that I'm gonna get to, but Pitt, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean Pitt, they got the job done. They were one of my favorite picks of the weekend, and they actually did pan out. Thank God. I would like to see him hold a little more on defense, but hey, they got
a
it
classic.
done.
I mean, we'll get into it later because I have them a little bit higher up, but it was kind of a classic like scenario where you could very easily see Pitt losing a game like this.
Hell yeah, that was a big win
for
for
those
Pitt
teams.
team. So, all right, yeah, I got they were 23rd on my list last week. I bumped them down a couple spots. Nothing they did, but it's Arizona State. They beat UNLV 37-10. Good for you. They've played Southern Utah and UNLV, but that's where I got them, 25.
Not on my list. I do have a team that is about to play them on my list, and they better watch out.
I'm not even going to spoil it. We'll wait for Campus Profits, but that's going to be my biggest bet of the week, I think.
Number 24 for me, the SMU Mustangs. They're flying under the radar. I think SMU is super alive for the fucking AAC. I think my 2 favorite for the AAC right now might be SMU and like Tulane.
Other than, you mean like your favorite teams going, or
like in the conference right now, like dark horses for the conference.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that. I saw Tulane's only getting 14 points from Ole Miss this weekend. I'm not 100% sure what side of that I'm going to fall on, but I think that speaks a lot to the credit that Willie Fritz is getting for that team. So, yeah, absolutely, I do like them. And SMU, that's your number 24? Is that another one of your 3 teams that you're
no,
big
it's
in
not.
on?
I will.
No?
I will let you know when those teams come up.
I did feel bad. You know me. I'm big on SMU this year too. They're not in my 25, but I did feel bad for Chase. He had that North Texas cover, and I think he picked them to win too. And they were hanging around all game.
That one was brutal. Brutal.
It was a weekend of bad beats, man. Just shout out Wyoming, shout out Army, just all these teams that had big 4th quarter leads. And like not only blew the cover, but some of them lost outright. Some of them damn near lost. Crazy weekend. My 24 is going to be Auburn, who has a big game this week against Penn State, the Nittany Lions, up in Happy Valley too at Beaver Stadiums. That's going to be interesting. They are my 24. They were 22 last week. Same thing as Arizona State. I had this team in my 25 to start the season. I'm keeping them in there, but they haven't. They beat Akron and Alabama State.
Yeah,
coin flip on which one of those teams is even the better win, because I don't know. But yeah, we got a lot to learn about this team this week, but they're my 24 right now.
We will learn a lot about Auburn this week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely seeing that. 23 for me, same conference as SMU. It's UCF. It's kind of they dropped a little bit for me, similar for a reason as your Arizona State and Auburn is they advanced, they survive and advance, but they didn't really do anything to wow or impress me.
Yeah, I got you, man. My 23, it is a team that they really don't have a marquee win yet either, but they did impress me last week. Virginia, not ranked last week. They are now my 23. They went out there and just straight mollywopped Illinois 42-14. That was another one of my favorite games that actually did hit. So shout out to you, Bronco Mendenhall. And I really like this team, and intriguing matchup coming up this week with them.
I'm wondering how long it takes for that Illinois, Nebraska win to kind of wear off on everybody's mind and realize that, yeah, Illinois is not very good.
No, Illinois sucks. That was Nebraska honestly won that game. They just they were coached poorly. They outgained Illinois. They were better in every facet of the game. It's just the stupid special teams mistakes and the poor clock management. I mean, it was a Scott Frost loss more than anything. So
it very much was. 20. I have Virginia at 21.
Okay.
I like them. I think both the Virginia schools are probably 2 of the top, or like them and Pitt are the top teams in the Coastal easily, in my opinion.
Agreed. And Brennan Armstrong's a stud. That kid is tough.
Stud. He's good.
Yeah.
My 22 team is Oklahoma State. They're getting a test this week, and I think this is going to be an interesting one. This is kind of how I'm going to view Oklahoma State as a program this year. Kind of comes down to this game against Boise State this week.
Yeah. Man, preseason, that was like already one of the games I was looking at and I was really excited for. And I thought I was going to be all over Oklahoma State in this game. Like I was kind of like a little down on Boise this year. Boise's kind of just looking like Boise to me right now. They don't look the step down really that I thought they were going to be. And OK State so far has just not impressed me. That was another one of my big bets this weekend, and that one went poorly. I was all over OK State against Tulsa. And Spencer Sanders just looks like shit, man. I'm not sold on the guy.
I don't understand what's up with that.
I don't know. I was trying to chalk it up in my mind. I was trying to figure it out, and I'm wondering if it's just preseason. We all said like they had 2 running backs on their roster that averaged more yards per carry than Chuba Hubbard, but maybe Chuba Hubbard was just a bigger part of things there than we really realized.
I'm wondering, has Oklahoma State had like a good to great quarterback since Mason Rudolph?
Honestly, I think Spencer Sanders took over after Mason Rudolph.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're and even Mason Rudolph, I mean, for so long they had the same variation of Mason Rudolph, Brandon Whedon, whoever those guys. Yeah. It was the same.
They were just it was like a plug and play, and the quarterback would look amazing.
Exactly. And now Spencer Sanders just dual threat, and he's never come along as a passer, and it sucks. And they don't have one thing that OK State always had was a marquee receiver, and they haven't had that in years either. So that could be a part of it. I don't know what's going on, but some of the shine off of Brandon Whedon was about 30 years old when he got drafted to the Cleveland Browns. I'm from Ohio, and I destroyed people for that because they were all excited about it, and I couldn't wait.
Who's your 22?
My 22 is the Florida Gators, not ranked for me last week. They took care of business. Now, I know it wasn't super impressive. They didn't even cover against USF, who is terrible, but they won by 22. And the thing about that game, I would have been all over the Gators, even if that game was like at home or in a traditional college stadium. However, that game, USF plays at Raymond James, which is an NFL stadium, and it was going to be more Gators fans than USF fans. But it was just going to be inevitably a sleepy environment, which it was. Florida went in, took care of business 2 weeks in a row, and that win over FAU looks a little better because FAU looks legit.
The FAU win was awesome, and then we have Chase chiming in here. What about Arkansas? Why aren't we talking about Arkansas? Well, I have a little ditty for you, my friend. We will be talking about them later.
Yeah, Beho and Chase, stay tuned.
I'm right there with you. I was same with Beho. He's right here. Where the hell is UK? Guess what? We have them higher.
Stay tuned.
So where were we? I'm on my 21. We talked about them a little bit already. I have the Virginia Cavaliers. Wahoo Wah. I think like I said, the Virginia teams and Pitt are the best teams in the Coastal. Virginia's a fucking good team. That defense is great. I think Bronco Mendenhall is a good fucking coach. There's not really too much more to say.
Dude, and it's like one of those, like if you're a diehard just football fan and you're not even like a college guy, like maybe that's why you like the NFL is because you prefer a particular style of football. Bronco Mendenhall is your coach. Virginia is your team. It's just hard-nosed football. It's great. I love it. My 21 is going to be the Liberty Flames. They were 20 last week. They dropped back a spot because, nothing crazy impressive, but 21-13, they won at Troy. Troy's a decent Fun Belt team. And, man, Vegas, I guess sleep on this team as long as you want because I was really scared that -4 line against Troy, like, kind of stunk last week. Like, I thought it might have been fishy, but I just think Vegas has no grasp on this team, and it's really blowing my mind, but I'll ride it as long as I can.
I might not have a grasp on them either because I did not have them in my top 25. I might have to start watching your BTV videos on that shit.
Yes, sir.
Number 20 for me, I have the Kansas State Wildcats. They're dropping a little bit for me. I think I might have them out of the top 25 if they lose to Nevada this week. Skyler Thompson, I'm scared. I don't think he's starting. He's week to week right now. And if you watched him at all last year, the second he got out, they looked like they couldn't beat anybody.
I know, man. And I was so like, after Nevada beat Cal, I had this game like locked and loaded ready for me, and I was going to be all over Kansas State, and now that sucks. Skyler Thompson, he's a really fun quarterback, really dynamic player, And yeah, you hit it on the head. Once he was out, they were up 14-0. He went down. They ended up winning 31-23. So they hung in there another week for me, a little higher than you got them right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens. A little worried about that. I went UCF, not ranked for me last week. They beat Bethune-Cookman, beat the hell out of them. The Boise State win looks a little better after Boise State went out and just straight opened up a can of whoop ass all over UTEP. I mean, I don't know, just a good win. I think it's a good team. I think they're gonna ride the wave a little bit here.
I can respect that. 19 for me. We already talked about them a little bit. Florida. I think it's kind of they've done what they needed to do for the most part. I'm going to dock them some points for not covering against USF. The USF is one of those teams that it's just auto fade for me right now, where if you don't cover against them, you're not that good of a team. Like Tennessee not covering against Bowling Green only proves to me that they're a bad team.
Yeah, well, Bowling Green 2 covers in a row. I'll tell you that right now.
They're changing shit. They're changing the fucking. I hate it.
Yeah, don't fuck up our auto fades, man. That we live off that.
I still have UConn and UMass, so
yeah, yeah. There's no reasonable reason that you can ever bet UConn at this point. So, 19, I got Coastal Carolina. They were 18 for me last week. They dropped the spot just because of the competition they played. They took care of Kansas. They covered by a half a point, which sucked because I had Kansas 26.5, and they won by 27. So whatever. Oh, nice.
Shout out Chase. we are taping this during the Washington football team Giants game. Washington just scored. My boy Heineke, always got to rep him. So XFL.
Yes, Taylor Heineke. I'm glad to see him starting again. He's a competent quarterback, man. Yeah, so Coastal took care of business. Jason Bean for Kansas looked really good in that game, though. I don't know if you watched, man. Yeah, so
I got Coastal a little bit higher. I might be just a tad bit higher on Kansas than you. I don't know, but I got them a little bit higher. 18 for me. I didn't knock them out because they got annihilated, and I probably should knock them out. But they're such a darling sweetheart. I have the Iowa State Cyclones. This is what they do. They lose these early season games. Not only was I on Iowa because that game's always close, but the second Iowa State doesn't lose an early season game to like Northern Iowa, I know that they're losing this game. They might lose another one, and then they're going to turn around and win the Big 12.
Yeah, this team.
I'm still calling it.
Iowa State broke my heart this week. I'll just say that, man.
Don't tell me you were on the Cyclones, man. Don't.
I'm such like a history better. Like I look at what these teams have done in all their matchups. Like what's their all-time record against each other? What's this coach do about this coach? All this stuff. So I knew all the numbers were there for Iowa, but it was the one time I even said it on Campus Profits. We Freaky Friday. We switched. Yeah. You went with the numbers and the smart play, and I went with my gut, and I wanted to get behind Iowa State, the Cyclones, and Matt Campbell this year. And I got to see smug-ass Ashton Kutcher just not bathing his kid and being happy as shit about a Hawkeye win. So that broke my heart, man. 18, I got the Michigan State Spartans. I got Sparty. They were 25 for me last week. They took care of Youngstown State, whatever with that one. But I'm riding the wave on this team. I'm believing it. I think they have a little bit of an offense going. Anthony Russo looks good at quarterback. He's a game manager, a little bit of legs on him. They also have been playing Peyton Thorne. He also looked good. So, yeah, I'm all about it. I think Midnight Mel Tucker, he's got a little bit of magic going there, and we'll see what happens in Old Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami this weekend.
I'm excited for that game this week. I am
Me too.
All over Michigan State. I probably should put them there instead of Iowa State. Up next for me is number 17. We talked about him a little bit. Coastal Carolina. Similar situation. I have them around the same spot. I dropped them a little bit, I think. Nope, they were 18 last week. They're 17 this week. It's similar situation. Like, they didn't really do much. Nothing really changed. They moved up just because of some other teams moved down.
I'll tell you what. I'm very intrigued to see this week's matchup.
I think they roll over Buffalo. I think they roll.
Man, it's a weird spot. It's a creepy travel. Going from Conway, South Carolina, up there to Buffalo. It's a weird travel. It's a weird spot. I know we're not huge on this Buffalo team this year, but the reason that I did drop Coastal a point was not so much how I feel about Kansas, but I watched a lot of that game, and the Coastal defense is worrying me just a little bit.
I would still love them against Buffalo.
We'll see on that one. I'm very interested. I hope they win. I hope they win. I went number 17. Beho, you still watching? I got Kentucky, not ranked for me last week. They have come up to 17 for me. Huge win over the Missouri Tigers, 35-28. And not only, I mean, you look at it and it's, oh, hey, they won by a touchdown, but they controlled the entire game. Defense looks stout. Chris Rodriguez Jr. is a stud. This team looks to be for real to me. So, yeah, could be a dark horse team in the SEC East. They're coming alive, man. I was very impressed by that win.
I got them a little higher up. I think I was because I was higher on Missouri than a lot of people. And that win really impressed me. Shout out, by the way, Raging Cajuns up 21-7.5 over Ohio. The over is still alive. The over in that game is still alive.
And I'm still rooting for the under.
That's fair. That's fair. 16 for me, and this is one of the teams I am shouting out and have been shouting out because guess what? Jim Harbaugh is coaching for his job. Give me the Michigan Wolverines. Looking actually pretty decent. Yeah, it sucks. Ronnie Bell's out for the season, but I think they still are a pretty formidable team even without him. Yeah, they haven't really played anybody because Washington sucks, but I think Michigan can have a good year.
I'll hold comments on that one because I got them coming up in here in a minute. First, though, number 16, I'm going the Arkansas Razorbacks. One spot ahead of B-Ho's Kentucky Wildcats. Not ranked last week, 16 for me now. The Rice win was a little like, okay, what's up with this team? They were losing in the fourth quarter. I don't know. Am I a believer in Sam Pittman still? What's going on? And then he comes out and absolutely beats the shit out of the Texas Longhorns, which I loved, which I was on. Chase called it to like a T, except for I think he exaggerated the score a little bit up to like 77-0. But
he's got Arkansas rated too. But
that's fair enough. He might be a little bit of a homer pick. I'm not sure. But yeah, they looked great in this win. They looked awesome, and it was so great for just Arkansas to be like, hey, we're one of like what's considered the bottom barrel of the SEC. Yeah, welcome home, bitch. Daddy's been drinking. We just whooped the hell out of him. I love it.
Up next for me, I also love that. I'm a little bit higher on Arkansas, but up next for me, it's another team that I've been high on since the season fucking started. It is the Pitt Panthers at 15. Your eventual ACC champions, the Pitt Panthers. Pat Narduzzi, Coach of the Year.
Man, I'm pulling for it just for you, man. And
I'd fucking love it, dude. I have money on this. I want it so bad.
I'm pulling on it just for you, brother. And I'll tell you what.
Good. And Kenny Pickett, like he's a pretty good quarterback.
They went down and they took care of business, man. They won me a bet. I'm cool with it, dude. One of the bright spots of my weekend. So I'm on board your Pitt train there. I went, Michigan. So right 15. One spot ahead of where you had them, actually. They're 24 for me last week. They're 15 now. And, yeah, they're passing the eye test so far. I mean, it's going to be let's see what you got for me every week. Let's see what happens. But it looks like Jim Harbaugh's comment of we are treating every single game like it's Ohio State looks like it's true so far. I want to see it against some big-time competition, but the Washington win was big.
It was a big one. B-Ho, you did not miss all of the UK talk because I still have them coming up. Stay fucking tuned for that. Up next, number 14 to me, Holy War champion BYU. They come in, they look dominant against a Utah team that I think we were both pretty fucking high on. And I thought BYU was going to take a step back. I had them covering in the Utah game. I did not have them winning, but this team looks like they could fucking wreck some shit.
Yeah, BYU looks pretty competent out there. I was pretty surprised by that game. That one was a big blow to me late in the night. I did not like that one. But I have BYU a little higher. So next up for me, 14. They were 12 last week. Kansas State. Yeah, this might be their last week holding on here. Depends on what happens with Nevada. But barely took care of Southern Illinois after Skyler Thompson went down. Sucks to see that happen. So let's hope they could find something that works. But yeah, they're 14 for now.
I'm rooting for K-State because I'm going to be there in like a couple weeks. I'm going to be there for the Oklahoma game.
That's right. Yeah.
Up next, number 13. Shout out B-Ho. Thanks, Jim. Fuck yeah. Thank me. It's Kentucky. It's the Wildcats. It's your SEC East eventual champions, the Kentucky Wildcats. This defense is fucking good. This team is fun to watch. They took down Missouri, and I think on any given Saturday, they might be able to hang with Georgia. Especially with Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what plays out with Daniels there. I haven't really heard
I think he's week to week right now.
Yeah, I've heard anything from like he could play any given week to like he might be done for the year. So
yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, you're hearing the same with Skyler Thompson right now, where he's week to week.
Yeah,
but you never know. The college football coaches play shit so close to the vest.
And I don't even know that Stetson Bennett's like the number 2 on that team, to be honest. But either way, their passing game hasn't really looked good at all anyway. But yeah, without JT Daniels, that becomes a little more interesting, that SEC East picture. So Kentucky just as alive as anyone else. So let's see it. 13, I got TCU. They were 15 for me last week. Come out, you win a close one against Cal. I'm pretty high on Cal, so that was a good win. And also I had Cal plus 11.5. So kudos to you, TCU. Get the win, but you don't cover. Little money in my pocket. I'm cool with it, man. So TCU 13.
TCU was right on the edge for me. I had Cal in that one, mucking it up. I think Cal is still technically, they're still alive for the North. I don't think there's any team that's really separated themselves enough. Even Oregon. Cal can muck up almost any game and fuck some shit up. Number 12 for me. It's the other Virginia team. It's the Virginia Tech Hokies. Justin Fuente, also a guy coaching for his job, making it look fucking good. They're looking good.
They really are, man. Going to be interesting to see what everybody does with this game coming up over the weekend. West Virginia -3. I have a feeling the public is going to be very hardcore on Virginia Tech. We'll see, but
probably.
I'll tell you what, I was impressed with the Middle Tennessee spot. I thought that was a really good spot for Middle Tennessee to make that a very close game after the UNC win for Virginia Tech, and they went out there and they took care of business. So interesting, good win. I have at number 12 BYU. You just talked about it. They're passing the eye test so far, man. They look pretty damn good. So big game this weekend with Arizona State. I know what side I'm on, but we'll see.
I think we're on the same side on that one, but tune into Campus Profits Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, to find out what our real opinions are.
Tease.
I mean, you should be able to fucking tell. Number 11 for me. I don't have them as my top G5, but they're my favorite G5 this year. It's the Nevada Wolfpack, man. Come on. This team's fucking good. They're going to roll into Manhattan, Kansas, get the W. This team could go undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the team. They are also my number 11, Jim. Number 11 last week, number 11 this week. You're number 11. Yeah, they took care of Idaho State, 49-10, whatever. But, I mean, we're going to look like geniuses. In 1 week, we've been shouting this team from the rooftops for like 3 months now. And in 1 week, just after this Saturday, less than 1 week, they might have 2 wins on the road against Power 5 teams. So that's why you listen to Jim and I. That's why you listen to us. That's all I'm going to say. That's why you listen.
That's why you listen to us. We do have a shout-out, Chase. Did Fresno State make the top 25? Sadly, that loss does not – it's not great. I mean, yeah, it's to Oregon, but –
I'll tell you what, man.
They're like right there. They're right there.
Now with what Oregon just did to Ohio State, that Fresno 7-point loss looks a little better. You know,
they're right there. Like maybe next week they bump off Clemson. Who knows?
And hey, how about they're playing a little bit of defense this year, man?
They're a good fucking team. Hey, no one. I wouldn't be opposed. Can they play? Can them and Nevada play in the championship game?
God,
I wouldn't hate it.
I actually have no idea what side. I don't know the Mountain
sides
West.
in the Mountain West, or they just
They
do.
do. They have sides. Yeah, it's I believe the Sun Belt doesn't have sides, and then the Big 12, but I think everyone else does. Okay. AAC doesn't as well. Sun Belt does have sides. AAC does not.
Okay. Well, either way, I would love to see something like that. And just like Chase wanted, top 10, number 10, Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas Razorbacks. This defensive line, holy fuck. Sam Pittman has these big hogs coached the fuck up. And I think with that crazy of a line and like their quarterback's decent, this team could do some shit.
Man, I said it before this season. I think, and it's not going to happen, but KJ Jefferson is like a dark horse level, like Heisman candidate. He's not going to win it. He's not going to be in the picture. I'm just saying he's that kind of player. Like he's dual threat. He's really exciting. Any given week, he could just go off. Yeah, I'm starting to get on board with old Arkansas there. Maybe that over 6 isn't as crazy as I thought.
Man, I always leave so many teams off my list. I can't believe I left Ole Miss off my list.
I did too, actually. But
right? Like, I mean, it just shows. I mean, in our favor, it just shows how big of a sham rankings are in general.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Anybody could get forgotten at any minute. My number 10, I got Oklahoma. They were 14 for me last week. Came out, shelled Western Carolina. Good for you. We're just gonna have to learn more about them as it goes on.
We gotta wait till they play a fucking real team. I have them a little bit higher. Number 9 for me. It's the third team I have been shouting from the rooftops since the season began. He's got the visor back. It's the UCLA Bruins. They are winning the Pac-12. This team is looking good.
Yeah, the Pac-12 picture is starting to look a little more clear. It's looking like some of the teams that were supposed to be upper echelon are not. I mean, look at USC dropping that one against Stanford.
What team in the South is like taking it to UCLA at this point? Like, they look way better than everybody in the South.
Yeah, I mean, there's always like scary games. Where do they have Utah?
I think they play at Utah. I think that's the weird one is they play at Utah. That's the tough one.
That could be a problem. Stanford traditionally always gives Chip Kelly a problem. So,
well, they play Stanford early, to be fair. They play Stanford next week. I mean, you can't sleep this week. They're playing Fresno.
They got Fresno this week.
They do have the situation where you can't really sleep on like almost any game.
No, absolutely not. And they're not really. I mean, let's be honest. The Pac-12 team has to win out and win their conference championship
if they want to play. Really,
yeah, exactly. So, number 9, I got Cincinnati Bearcats. Number 10 for me last week. They struggled a little bit early on with Murray State. Ended up winning 42-7. That's actually why they moved up. I know it was just Murray State, but that actually shows you some things when a team comes out and they're laying an egg and they're able to hit the switch. We're better than this team. Let's beat the hell out of them. I like to see that in that spot. So number 9, Cincinnati Bearcats.
My big worry about Cincinnati in general is they seem to just like let teams hang around. You saw it in the bowl game with Georgia. You saw it in a couple games this year. That's just my only worry. It seems to be like a Luke Fickell thing.
Man, we are going to learn a lot. I really hope they just go in and house Indiana this week.
I hope they just fucking destroy them.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me. So wait, no, yeah, it's number 7, right?
8.
Number 8 for me. It's Nevada Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Did I call them already?
I think you did. I think we both had Nevada at 11.
UCLA and Nevada on accident. It got flipped in here somehow.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, give me. I don't know where I got lost. It's number 8's Nevada. We already talked about them. They're awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I got
A&M twice. You know what? I somehow put Nevada twice. I'm gonna just throw in Ole Miss right there. Right there.
There you go.
Right there.
There we go.
That's where you go. Good job, Ole Miss.
Yeah, at least they showed up in one of ours somewhere, huh?
I went Texas A&M. The top 10. I don't know where exactly.
I went Texas A&M. They were 13 for me last week, 8 now. Not an impressive win though. 10-7.
That was a bad win.
I'll tell you, man. There's a lot of talent on Jimbo Fisher's team, but none of it is at quarterback. So you're at 8 for now, but yeah, I mean, this team against Alabama, good luck.
And shout out Ole Miss. That offense is capable of beating anybody. So good them. If they can get any semblance of defense, they're going to be a fucking good team. Number 7 for me. Talked about them a little bit. The Oklahoma Sooners. The jury's just out. Play a real team. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're going to perform just as well as we expect them to.
They're going to shit stomp Nebraska, I imagine. they're 4 touchdowns probably. Oklahoma's way better. And they're way better coached.
Does Scott Frost have a job after that game?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Scott Frost has a job till the end of the year, almost no matter what.
What's the number that they would have to get beat by for him to not have a job?
Oh, it has to be. This would have to be the worst loss in school history. Bad. This has to like eclipse Ohio State from like 3 or 4 years ago, where they beat us like 60 something to like 7.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or eclipse that Texas Tech lost way back when with Callahan. This has to be like, I'm gonna say, if Scott Frost gets fired after this game, it has to be 77-3.
77-3. So that's the number. We'll see.
If it's 77-3, kick him the fuck out.
I'm hearing some pretty sour thoughts on him from just publications and stuff.
I mean, as a coach, yeah, it's not great. Our offensive line still looks really bad. I'm higher after watching these last couple games. I am a little bit higher on Adrian Martinez. I think he's not bad. He's not good. He's not bad. He's kind of like all right. He's
He's a baller, man. He can be. He's not a great quarterback, but he's a hell of an athlete.
He's a good athlete, but he's kind of like at quarterback. And then our defense is all right. It's fine. It's an all right defense. Our offensive line is just bad. Our offensive line, our special teams are just bad.
Yeah,
It sucks.
It does, man. I feel bad.
But number 7, Oklahoma. They might if they beat Nebraska, they'll probably stay at the same. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing is we're still not going to know, and then they get to play K-State after that without their quarterback. Yeah, what do you know? So
hey, guess what? Oklahoma gets all the breaks.
Yeah, of course. My number 7, you already covered them. They were 6 last week. Dropped one spot just because of competition they played, and somebody got a big win that moved up over them. But Virginia Tech, Justin Fuente, getting it done, dude. I'm impressed so far. I'm very interested to see where it goes. Very interested for this week against West Virginia. But as of now, 2 solid wins, one over North Carolina, and then Middle Tennessee. Yeah, so 7.
Number 6 for me, and this is a big prove-it game for them as well. They've already had one. They have another big game this week. It's the Penn State Nittany Lions at number 6, almost cracking the top 5. Honestly, they probably could. I have a team up there that has been sort of shaky, but I think Cincinnati I'm thinking Penn State. A little slip there. I think Penn State has looked the part of a fucking top 5 team all year so far. And by all year, I mean weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, I do have them in my top 5, so I'm right on board, man. Number 6 for me, you already covered them. UCLA. They were 4 last week. They dropped a couple spots just because of 2 other teams having big wins, but they had the bye. They didn't get to play anybody this week. They play Fresno. Keep it rolling, Chip. Keep it rolling.
It's a big week. Keep it going, Chip. Keep it going. Number 5 for me, the end of the top 5 or the beginning in some respects. Cincinnati Bearcats. This team, they did nothing to prove that they should drop in my mind. They're still hovering around the top 5. They look really fucking good. This is a week. This is a prove it week for Cincinnati.
Yeah,
they need to show up against Indiana.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is what you're really looking for, because this is why no one does a list how we do lists, or this is why no one really takes a Cincinnati seriously, or if they win out, like are they even in the playoffs, because you're worried about Cincinnati on the road against Indiana. If Cincinnati is what we think they are, they should go in there and absolutely house this Indiana team, and it shouldn't be a problem, because if this was Ohio State, you wouldn't even be worried about this game. You'd be talking about how many points you're going to lay with Ohio State. So this is a big game. Are you that caliber team, Cincinnati? Show us.
You gotta own this game.
Yes, sir. My number 5, Penn State, Nittany Lions. They were 5 last week, 5 this week. One of the most impressive wins. I'm always going to give more points, like as far as towards my rankings. I'm always going to give a little more respect to teams that win big games on the road. So they beat Wisconsin on the road. That's one of the best wins that I see. There's a couple teams that got better ones just ahead of them. And then this Ball State spot, they went out and whipped the shit out of Ball State. I know that's not a huge deal, but that was after the Wisconsin win and before the Auburn game. That's actually a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. Shows me this team's for real, man. That
shows that they're not going to be they're not really primed for any letdown spots coming up. Also, Chase very much on Fresno beating UCLA. He's a Chip Kelly hater by nature, so it's fine.
Ask him how that's worked out so far.
I mean, so far up until this year, it's been fine. I bet.
Mm-hmm. Well, not back to the Oregon days. Maybe the Philly days.
Yeah. Like right until the end of the Oregon days, and then after that, you can hate them all you fucking want. Number 4 for me, the Georgia Bulldogs. It's a situation where they're fucking awesome. They look really good. Their quarterback was out, and they still look pretty good with Stenson Bennett in there. That defense is just fucking stalwart.
Yeah, that defense is nasty, man. One of the best in the country for sure. Maybe the best. I I went at number 4. I went Oregon. They jumped back up from number 19. That's how dramatic wins can happen for how I do my rankings.
If you beat a fucking like top team, like I still assume Ohio State's going to be sort of a top team. They're still a good team.
Yeah.
Oregon deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And the fact that it was on the road in the Horseshoe, first game with fans in the Horseshoe in 2 years. And not only did they beat them whistle to whistle. They beat the hell out of OSU. I know it's a 7-point score at the end, but there was never really a moment where that game was in doubt. Anthony Brown looked like a stud out there. Yeah, just everything clicking. And that was without Thibodeau. That was without like 2 linebackers. The team looks good, man. I'm still not a crystal ball guy. I'm not sold, but the talent on this team is like just under like Alabama OSU level.
I think I'm maybe not be like a full crystal guy, but I'm definitely a Moorhead guy. I think he knows how to coach offense, and I think Cristobal has done the job of a coach of like surrounding himself with really good people. I think he's done a good job with that.
And his recruiting is phenomenal.
Insane. His recruiting is insane.
It's phenomenal. He uses that Nike money well. And Moorhead, yes, you hit it on the head, because how you have to beat Ohio State is you have to play mistake-free football, and that's exactly what Oregon did. They just played a very, very clean game of football. It was amazing.
They're actually my number 3 team. Oregon looked fucking amazing, whistle to whistle. The Oregon line, even without Kayvon Thibodeau, just manhandled Ohio State. And when you do that, you're a good fucking team.
And you know what? CJ Verdell is a man. That dude was just bowling over people, man. Passing game, run game looked great. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you've mentioned them, but I think we might have the same 1 and 2.
Well, my number 3 is the Iowa Hawkeyes. So no, we don't.
We do not.
No, yeah, because you have Georgia at 4. I have Georgia at 2. No, my number. So your number 2 is Iowa.
We'll see.
Okay, yeah, I had Iowa at 8 last week. To me, Iowa actually has the 2 most impressive wins in the entire country so far. You went to Ames, Iowa, and beat Iowa State 27-17. Again, really, that score doesn't even indicate how bad that ass whipping was. They really just absolutely dominated a really good Iowa State team. And then they beat the hell out of Indiana. I mean, just completely shit stomped them. No, I don't think Indiana's great, but it's a Power 5 team. It's one that was preseason ranked, whatever that's worth. Yeah, Iowa, rolling. Love it. There's my number 3.
Number 2, in my opinion, basically just because they didn't play anybody, so I just kind of like put them on a slider. I kind of just put them in freeze frame. And by freeze frame, I mean I moved them back a spot. It's the Alabama Crimson Tide, number 2. Play a real team. Play a real team in September, Alabama. Come on. Play a real team. I mean, probably after this week when they shit stomp Florida, they'll probably be back to number 1, but number 2.
And don't you get so sick of it every single year? And I feel like they play Mercer specifically like every single year.
It's like Mercer and the Citadel. All the time.
And every single time after this game, you have to hear about how Nick Saban was just chewing his players out. Like, okay, we get it. Nick Saban yelled at him because they didn't beat Mercer bad enough. Like, but nobody fucking cares. Why is that a story?
What? Nobody's going to this game.
Nobody gives a shit. My number 2 is Georgia. So they went out there without JT Daniels, and they played a really good group of 5 team in UAB. And while that's not like a majorly impressive win, the way that they did it by 49 points without their starting quarterback, after you could have kind of been a little mopey out there, like, oh shit, we lost JT Daniels. No, you went out there and you handed it to UAB, a team that would have loved to make some noise in this game. So it was actually kind of an impressive win for me. I got the Bulldogs.
My number 1 team. Oh, I hate saying this. But like you said, they had the 2 most impressive wins. They were both dominant wins. This defense they're giving Georgia a run for their fucking money for best defense, in my opinion. It is the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fuck this team. I hate this team so goddamn much. Their line play is so fucking good. Oh my God.
Yeah. They open up holes for Goodson. Both sides of the line they're just nasty. Ferentz is just being Ferentz, man.
They're gonna drop a team that they fucking shouldn't, but until they do.
Yeah, do you have their schedule pulled up?
I can do it real quick. Let me see it.
Let's see if we could pick it out. When Iowa's gonna Iowa.
When will Iowa? They're gonna. So Kent State is this week. I might take Kent State like spread, just because it's a letdown spot for him. But then
it's not as big of a spread as you would think. It's only like 3 touchdowns.
I think they're playing into that, so it might be a stay away. But then after that, it's Colorado State, who they're becoming an auto fade team in my book. Steve Adazio is terrible as a coach.
Good God, did they just become one of the worst teams in the whole country? I can't believe that.
I can't believe that. I remember
that was
half a decade ago, they were a fucking good team.
I know they've always been a good team out there, Fort Collins. But yeah, that was Jesus. I can't believe Vanderbilt went out there and beat them. Ugh.
After that, it's Maryland at Maryland, which is possible.
Hey,
but
there it is.
It's before Penn State. It's right before Penn State at home.
That's the spot for me, man.
It's got to be that one. It's probably Maryland. Then they play Penn State at home. Then they play Purdue at home. Bye week at Wisconsin, at Northwestern. I mean, those are the two, right? Those have got to be the two. It's got to be Maryland and Northwestern.
Yes, definitely for the candidates for a game you shouldn't lose. I wonder, I guess I'll dig into it a little bit later on in the season, but I have a feeling that Penn State always beats Iowa, whether it's in Kinnick or not.
I don't know. That's the Kinnick thing is like, I don't think they beat them at Kinnick. That's the crazy
thing. I wonder if they do.
I don't think they do. I
might have to do a little.
I remember like 3 years ago, what was it? The Saquon Barkley team, I think, lost in Kinnick.
I'm doing a little MQ research right now. It seems like it would just be a thing. Penn State and Iowa. Okay. No. Okay. So Iowa actually beat Penn State in Happy Valley last year. But prior to that, the last 6 times they played, so that would be 3 home and 3 away, Penn State won every single time.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that.
That could also be one then. But that Maryland game right before Penn State coming home when you're probably going to be 2 top 10 teams. That's a look ahead spot if I've ever seen one. And Maryland, I think, is good enough to get somebody this year.
Man, baby Tua looks good.
He does.
All right, so yeah, you had the Hawkeyes. I got no surprise, Alabama. They're probably I know how I do my lists, and I know this is contradictory to how I do my list, but now that I've seen them go out there and whip the shit out of Miami, and no, I'm not even big on Miami, but after I see them go out and do that, so now to me it is now programmed in my head that this is just your classic Alabama team, possibly even better than normal, and I'm just going to have to see them lay an egg before I actually believe that it's even a possibility.
It's really not. You can't really fault anybody for just having Alabama at number 1 until they prove that they're not.
Yeah, I mean, they're 14-point favorites on the road with a freshman quarterback in Gainesville. Christ.
I think they cover it by a lot. I actually think it's insane how much better Alabama is this year than everybody, it seems like.
It's well, and that's the thing, too, is, I mean, you've already been watching, like, Iowa State lost and Clemson lost and Ohio State lost, and it's all these teams showing, vulnerability and stuff, and then you just got Alabama there, and you're just like, well, fuck. Like, now I already know what's going to happen. It's like somebody just told you the ending of a movie 5 minutes in.
You know what? I'm going to get behind my Gymnasium cohort, Arkansas over Alabama this year. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. I'll put money on that.
Where's that game at?
I think it's in Tuscaloosa.
All right, I don't know if I'm on it then.
I mean, what is Alabama's schedule? Let's go through it real quick. We got a little bit of time. Florida this week, Southern Miss next week, blah. Mississippi, Ole Miss, always has been playing them tough offensively. Yes, it's in Tuscaloosa, but
that 3-game stretch right there that we're coming into right there is what I circled before the season. That Ole Miss definitely kicks it off.
Mississippi State.
And now I am definitely not on the A&M train. I really didn't think that was going to be their loss anyway because they always beat the hell out of A&M. But, I mean, A&M, if you can't score more than 10 points, you're in trouble.
Hey, if it's one of the Mississippi schools, though, it could be because the Mississippi State gets them on a back-to-back.
Yeah, they do, and they have a bye before they play Alabama. That was the spot. I predicted it before the season happened, before we started playing here, so I'll be all about that action.
So I would say Arkansas, but I might retract that a little bit. So Alabama gets New Mexico State before they get Arkansas at home. So it's kind of like having a bye week.
Well, maybe now that New Mexico State's in the SEC, apparently, since they play all those teams, maybe they'll start playing up to snuff and give them a game.
Maybe they'll be competitive as Vanderbilt.
They probably could be. So who'd you have fall out of the 25 this week?
Let's see. Let me take a quick look. See, I had Missouri fall out of the top 25. I had NC State definitely fall out. I had Utah fall out. USC fell out. Notre Dame fell out for me because that's looking worse and worse.
Listen, dude, and I am a huge Notre Dame fan, like for real. But I was, because they had that game on Peacock Network, and I just wanted them to lose that game so fucking bad because I hate this whole.
I hate it.
I hate that. I really fucking hate that. Like I don't want sports, all these, because I could see it already. It's the future of sports. Is they're all going to be, specifically conferences, they're going to be their own streaming services. And that's what I'm dreading. And this is the step. This is the first step of that. And it's Notre Dame, which pisses me off because it's my team. But I wanted everybody that paid to get Peacock Network for this Notre Dame Toledo game. I wanted them to see Toledo beat them so fucking bad. I was so pissed that Toledo ended up losing that game. This game this week's on Peacock too.
Yep, I fucking hate it. I think Texas A&M got knocked off for me out of the top 25.
Yeah, fair enough. That was a really dog shit performance. I had OSU, Texas gladly knocked out, USC knocked out, Utah, Iowa State, and Notre Dame.
There we go. Beautiful. What's give me one game that you're looking forward to this week, that not everyone might be thinking of.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, one game that everybody might not be thinking of.
Probably it probably won't be a game that we cover Saturday.
You know what? Go ahead and give the people yours, and let me look at the schedule real quick.
Okay, so actually, you know what? Never mind. Don't give me a game. Give me a hot take. Actually, just give me one hot take because I have one hot take to rule them all. And guess what? Guess what it is?
What do you got?
Central Michigan beats LSU.
You know what, dude? I could totally see that happen.
Mich school.
Already
know Chase is going to be on Fresno State, UCLA. I'm sure we'll talk about that one Saturday.
Yeah, that will probably be in the list of mentions there. I'm trying to look here.
Also, Rice might cover against Texas.
Oh, man, I wish I could get further on board with that, but Rice looked really friggin' bad last week, man. I was on that. That was one of my upset picks, and I was pretty upset about that. Yeah,
I was very mad.
Okay, yeah, let's go with. I am going to say that Virginia is going to beat North Carolina. I'm taking the Wahoos to get it done and take down number 21 North Carolina. I think they play too good a defense. They're too physical a team, which I think is a Mac Brown kryptonite. And if we remember, Mac Brown has a lot of trouble coaching his teams to defend the run. And Bronco Mendenhall loves to run. He loves to run so much that he ran all over him for like 500 yards when he was with BYU and Mac Brown was at Texas. So I am all about it. I'm on the Wahoos this week to get it done against UNC. Love
that pick. Before we head out, where can the people find you, my man?
The people can find me on Twitter at GCG_wins as always. And also, as always, at BetterThan.Vegas, the best place to find all free gambling information that you could ever imagine. And you get to see our beautiful faces on there every single Saturday at 10 a.m. for the Campus Profits, the best Saturday morning show for college football that there is. I'm just going to say it.
Arguably. You can find me everywhere, folks. Twitter at XFL Gym, YouTube XFL Gym. You can find me over on BetterThan.Vegas making them picks all the time. Every Sunday night, you can find me and the lovely Chase Lupine Fiasco Sesums in the Jimnasium. Usually, you can find me and this guy here on Monday nights, not Thursday. I mean, there's still football on while we're commentating, but usually it's on Mondays for the Jimnasium tailgate. And make sure before we sign off from the tailgate, make sure you go sign up over at Nitro Betting, folks. It's the best crypto book experience you could fucking ask for. If you're watching this stream, if you look down below, there's a fucking link right there that'll help you sign up, and you can go make some bets and make some fucking money. It's that easy. It's that easy. It's so quick to deposit. It's quick to withdraw. They got great customer service. It's https://nitrobetting.eu/?ref equals BTV. That is the link, folks. And make sure you give the Jimnasium and the Jimnasium tailgate, give us some thumbs ups, give us some likes, give us some follows over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Stitcher, everywhere you can find podcasts. Greatly appreciated. Love you guys. College football is here. We're in the middle of the season. Let's fucking go.